of the other over-the-edge folks have to make, and that is to raise the $1,100, however they decide to do that. If you are interested in learning more about this event, you can already learn more about for next year by going to SODE.org and click on the Over the Edge banner. The event is going to be on May 11th in 2017. It is always the second Thursday in the month of May. We've done that as we do the plunge the first Sunday in February. We like to keep the Over the Edge event consistent for those that do it year after year, and for the sake of the volunteers. Many of the volunteers, and I haven't pointed that out yet at all today, that many of the volunteers are back year after year after year, and so it's the type of thing that they can already put on the calendar next year, that it is the second time. Who we got here, Jimmy?
This is Vimbai Jhamba. I believe we heard a story earlier.
We did.
About her jumping on here.
Yeah. She is works for the Bowie store in Maryland from TD Bank. That was the story.
Yep.
Mr. Hardigan came on and talked about his employees, and that she came up. They were showing her as a spectator in the crowd as some of the other TD Bank employees came down, and she drove up from Bowie, Maryland to be part of that. And she's been here all day.
Yep.
It's not like she just popped up here to do this and go home. She committed to the day. She is a repeat edger. She's volunteered for Special Olympics since TD Bank started sponsoring the powerlifting event. Volunteered at the event at UD as well as raising money for Special Olympics for almost 7 years now. She went over the edge for the first time in 2013. The first time I went down, it took me a really long time as the people working in the building kept stopping me to take pictures. And so the TD Bank is located, the branch here in Wilmington is attached to this building, and that's why they hold the festival outside during the day. They're one of the three sponsors, Brandywine Realty Trust and Newcastle Fire Services being the other. TD Bank also did the reception last night. There you can see one of our last remaining edgers. And we will find out for you who this is. And it's either got to be Joseph Hayes. But
it's probably Joe Hayes. Then.
Yeah, the other person it might be, because it doesn't look like a Joseph. It might be that Richard Simpson, Chip Thompson. I wonder if his
from earlier
name.
today.
Oh, here we go.
It's a right
Perillo. Richard Perillo.
Yeah.
All right. So, here's the story. Richard was scheduled to go over yesterday, and for whatever reason did not. So he is going over today. So this is Richard Perillo. We apologize. We do not have any biographical information on him because he originally was not scheduled to go today. So
is he part of the media then?
No, he's not part of the media. Yesterday we actually had a couple people who went over who were not part of the media who paid the $1,100,
Gotcha.
but either couldn't make it today or, said, hey, if you need somebody to go over tomorrow, I'm happy to take one of those slots. In his case, he must have signed up for that and then wasn't able to make it, so he is going over today. And
there you go.
Our ever-capable Corinne Plummer just handed me Rich Perillo's biography. He is with the Brandywine 100 Fire Company. He's the president of that. He is a first-time edger. I'm trying to read his handwriting. He filled this in at the last minute. His handwriting might be worse than mine, if that's possible. But he wanted to thank the Newcastle Court Services. I'll leave it at that for that. So Richard Perillo not having any trouble getting down. Vimbai Jhamba is heading down as well. And she wanted to thank several people. Thabo Mayo, Sanjay Anand, Darnell, Daniel Movoa, Elijah Moho, Will, Dr. Justina Benson, Alex Chodo, and my amazing TD Bank family. She knows this is a great cause and that all the money raised goes to Special Olympics Delaware. She said she's hoping it's not windy, and the good thing is it's not windy. We've said we've almost had perfect weather here today. It's overcast, which unless you want to get a sunburn or a suntan is perfect weather for this type of event. It's warm enough. You don't need a coat. You've seen the people in the crowd out there dancing and having fun. It's not windy, it's not cold, and it's not going to rain. Something that Vimbai Jhamba did, she completed an expedition within 3 days, walking a specific amount of miles, cover assigned checkpoints, and climb a mountain before returning to the main camp area. So she's done one of those survivor type things, I guess, or something. I'm not going to say it was extreme as survivor, but maybe close.
Sounds kind of extreme.
Yeah, extreme enough. Let's put it that way.
Extreme enough for us,
More
right?
extreme than I would do.
Right.
She is an athlete and always pushing herself to excel in sports, specifically softball, swimming, soccer, and tennis. Everyone deserves a chance to play a sport, including the Special Olympics athletes, and that is why she is part of this event. Again, a repeat edger. That's her Vimbai Jhamba coming down with Richard Perillo. When they land, we will be down to our final 5 edgers, and we are actually almost officially back on time. Marissa Hammond, the Special Olympics athlete, scheduled to go off at 4:20. It may be 4:30 before she goes off, but it'll be pretty darn close, which will bring our broadcast time to a little over 9 hours at that point. We've had almost 3,000 people tune in. Not double, but far more than 1,800 that did last year. We thank those of you that tuned in, those of you that sent us tweets. It's still not too late, even if somebody went over and you're just tuning in now to see what this is all about. And you want to give a shout out to somebody, send us a tweet at #OverTheEdgeDE, and we'll see it pop up. We've had probably more than 35 or 40 people send tweets out, and we've gotten them out on the air. We don't think we've missed any, so that when these people watch themselves go over the edge tomorrow, once it's up on the website, and it will be at SODE.org. There'll also be pictures that'll be loaded. It usually takes us about a week or so to get the pictures up there. The reality of it is we've got anywhere from 6 to 10 volunteer photographers here. They take the pictures, and they take them back and crop them up for us and get them all put together, and then they send them in, and we host them on the galleries on the website pages. So all that information can be at SODE.org. We'll also have the links up for the live stream tomorrow morning at some point, so you'll be able to watch that. All this benefits Special Olympics Delaware. Once again, many of you are probably just tuning in. Today we had 87 edgers go over the edge, 51 females, 36 males, 39% of them doing it for a second time, which means 61% of them did it for the first, and we hope a very high percentage of them come back for a second time. They've raised more than $133,000 for Special Olympics today alone. In the 6-year history, $758,000 have been raised by now, a total of 528 people. Jimmy, who we got up there on the ledge?
So that's Joe Hayes on the blue. And waiting to get a look at yellow here in a second. But my guess could be Joanna Suder.
It's safe to say it's going to be a female at this point.
Yeah, because Joe is the last male.
He's the final male of the 41% of the people going over the edge, taking a selfie there with a Special Olympics athlete and a colleague of his from the fire department. Corinne Plummer is back with the update of who the final one. She's done a wonderful job. She's back for her second time. She was an intern last year. She's a full-time member of Special Olympics this year. She's going over the edge one of these years.
Yeah.
And she has just done a fantastic job of getting us the information. And she's kind of the person behind the scenes. You know, in any broadcast, if people don't know that, most of the relevant information the announcers talk about, somebody's feeding them in their ear. And it's no different here.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying our best to read the name tags on the shoulders, and sometimes that's not easy. And then when we get I don't want to say curveball, but an unexpected addition, like we had with Mr. Perillo we just had, then it's nice to be able to have her fill us in.
Yep, it sure is. So, and joining us now, the lady who just landed, Vimbai Jhamba. Did I pronounce that correctly? All right, not
Fantastic.
bad. Vimbai Jhamba. Thanks, Corinne, for bringing her in. And you came up from Maryland.
I did.
That's wonderful. I'll take that from you. That's just for my own notes here. But you just came off the ropes, and we appreciate you joining us. She's going to get the headset on there and talk to us. Vimbai, you're a part of TD Bank.
I am.
And they don't do that at the Maryland branch, I guess, at least not yet.
They do the polar plunge.
They do the polar bear plunge, and we do that here, obviously, as you know, in Delaware. What it made you do this the first time? I know this is your second time. What was the inspiration for you to do this the first time?
It's the cause. So I've been volunteering for years, and everybody should be afforded an opportunity to play athletes. So I'm an athlete myself, so the cause is why I do it.
And you say you volunteer. What are some of the roles you serve in as a volunteer?
So I've volunteered for the powerlifting, and I do the financial literacy education program for TD Bank. I'm also a bank at work champion, so I'm always volunteering for the community. Where there's a need, I'm there.
Now, the first time you were told you were going to volunteer for the powerlifting venue at Special Olympics, did you think it was going to be anything like what it was?
No, I didn't. I was pleasantly surprised. So, their enthusiasm, their courage, their strength, and just the capability of everybody that was performing blew my mind.
And they're serious powerlifters.
Oh, yeah,
I
they
mean,
are.
It's not guys that just like to lift.
No, it's not. It's not. The weights they were lifting, I was like, wow, I can't even lift those weights.
Right.
So that right there was a defining moment for me.
2 years down. We're going to see you again next year?
I've already signed up.
Oh,
I'll be
wow.
back.
Awesome. That's great news. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for stopping by.
You're
we appreciate
welcome.
it. Go
No
enjoy
problem.
the pleasure of knowing you did it for the second time.
Thank you.
That's Vimbai Jhamba from TD Bank, one of the 3 sponsors of this event, who has gone over the edge for the second time and tells us she has already signed up for year number 3 next year. Joe Hayes coming down the building there. He works at Naramco Incorporated in Wilmington. He volunteers as a referee for soccer at our fall festival. He has never done this before. He's a little bit iffy about looking down, but looking forward to the challenge and the sense of accomplishment. He says he tried to get his plant manager and his team to sign up. He challenged me to do it this year, and maybe they would do it next year. He likes trying out new roller coasters, and he also got up close to a beluga whale at SeaWorld in Orlando. Now, Jimmy, this takes me back to the discussion we've had all day.
It's
getting up
pronounced
close.
beluga.
All right,
by
beluga.
the way.
Thank you. That's good.
Real quick.
That's good.
Fixing that problem.
You can tell I'm not around whales very often.
I mean, I'm not either.
Somebody gave that to you in the ear, probably.
No, who's in my ear? Nobody's in my ear.
All right, beluga, the beluga
Yeah.
whale. I learn something new every day. Up close at SeaWorld. So I'm going to guess he's not swimming with the beluga whales. We've had this discussion all day if you're just joining us. We've had a couple of people who have been swimming with sharks. And the question always was, well, were they sharks in a cage, or what was it exactly?
They're smaller. They're on the smaller side, so I wouldn't see there being an issue with swimming with them.
No? I
they're
guess
smaller.
beluga whales wouldn't go after you, probably.
I don't know. This table, maybe, as big as this table.
That's big enough.
It's still a creature.
Any animal bigger than me, I'm a little leery of. And that includes gentle horses and those types of things.
For sure, yeah, I understand that.
All right, so Joe has been up close to a beluga whale, which I think would be
Which is still cool, because they're not like...
Yeah. Well, you don't see them every day.
Common whales.
No, right.
They're not normally in the places that we go.
Well, I tell you, I love seeing the dolphin shows.
Yeah.
I love, again, I'm bigger than most dolphins. No, I'm probably not, about the same size. So
Are you fighting dolphins? Is that why?
No. But if I ever had,
bigger than them,
I wouldn't
so I'm
be
not
able to
scared
hold up
of
with them either. So, any fundraising supporters? Joe wanted to thank his plant manager, John Daly, Yen Lei, for her encouragement. The girls at the Disney store, Tammy and Chris, and his wife, Jeanette. So we're hoping Joe Hayes is able to convince his plant manager and some of his team to sign up next year as he is making his first age. We have 4 people left to go. Paige Schmittinger, Joanna Suder, Heather Cannon-Bell, and Marissa Hammond getting ready to go over the edge to bring a close to what has been going on an 8-hour broadcast. With almost 3,000 people who have tuned in at one point or another, which we are very excited about because it means it's 3,000 people that know more about this event. And if they don't consider doing it, maybe know somebody who would consider it. You already heard our last guest, Vimbai Jhamba, has already signed up for next year. And even though you can't officially sign up, you will be able to very soon.
Yep.
And if you want more information or you want to be on our mailing list to be alerted, or email list when that will be, just email us at info@fsode.org or go to the website and click on the Over the Edge banner, and there is another link with a form for you to fill out, a very short form, basically your name and your email address, so we can contact you as soon as that registration is up. How that will work is you will basically register for $50, and then you'll have the rest of the year to raise the other $1,050. And so there are a lot of ways to do that, as we've discussed throughout the day. Discover did a neat penny jar type of thing where they competed that way. We've had people who have run their own mini events. Restaurants always do fundraising nights, and it's a way to raise a few $100s. And, that's a fun way to do it. You get your friends to come out, and they're not only supporting the cause, but they're getting a good meal wherever that might be. Some people do just write Special Olympics a check, and that's very generous as well. And then there are other people. I know when I did it, I fundraised similar to when I do the polar bear plunge. I appreciate any amount you can give me. And I had everything from $5 to $100 sponsors, and in the end, it all adds up and all goes to a great cause. Special Olympics Delaware, 4,000 children and adults competing in sports year-round, 20 sports, in fact, and we're much more than the summer games, but that is our big event coming up June 10th and 11th at the University of Delaware. If you are interested in being part of that and being part as a volunteer, email us at info@sode.org, and we will get you that information. We've had a couple people commit to going next year over the edge. Scott Selheimer, you heard him a few minutes ago. His wife Amy went over for the first time, the assistant principal at Thurgood Marshall, and Scott has committed to going over. Nina Raspa, a member of our production crew, is nodding her head. She would like to go over next year. She's going to go over as part of Media Day. The Wednesday before, we can't afford to lose her off this production crew for any amount of time. So she's going to be up. She's been up on the roof.
She's going to be mic'd up.
She loves the roof. Yeah, I can't imagine what you're going to have for that.
We'll do it up. Yep.
You can start planning that.
If
right
I can
now.
fly the drone that day too, I have to talk to the city, but
it
may
true.
buzz by you while you're up there.
And so, anyway.
I said drone, and now here come the police.
Here come the police to get you. They can't take you for at least another hour. But anyway, so it's been a spectacular weather day. We've mentioned that a couple times. But for those of you that are just having the benefit of seeing this at home, it's not a sunshiny day. And while that might disappoint some, I can tell you, having been out there for all 8 hours of this event a few times, that if it is sunny, it gets very hot no matter what the temperature is, because once that sun gets up high, there is no escaping from it. There's no trees, there's no shade out there except a tent that is used by an organization, and the Special Olympics tent that you can't hide under. So we're glad for the people that are involved, the volunteers in particular, who have put in the time out there, that it is not a bright sunny day. I think the temps are in the low 70s, maybe even the mid 70s.
Yeah.
There's not much wind. You can always tell the wind. You see that yellow rope on the left. If it was windy out, it would really be blowing. I mean, it's just swaying like any rope would that you hang down, but it would really be blowing if it was windy. That's Joe Hayes again, as you see coming down. Naramco Incorporated Wilmington, and a volunteer referee for us at the Fall Festival. And that continues to be neat for us as we find out that people who they end up at this event, not because of the event itself, but because of their involvement with Special Olympics in some way. And they've decided that, hey, this organization is a worthy organization for me to not only spend my time with as a volunteer, but to try to raise money to continue that effort. We are the only state in the country for Special Olympics that completely funds the uniforms, the equipment, and the facilities for all of our athletes. Now, that's not to say that Special Olympics athletes around the country are paying registration fees to be part of Special Olympics. That's not the case. But the local programs in the other states have to raise the money by themselves. So in other words, they have to hold fundraising events to be able to purchase basketballs for basketball practice or uniforms for their basketball team. Here in Delaware, we do all that for the Special Olympics athletes. So the money that we've raised today, again, in excess of $133,000, all stays right here in the state of Delaware to support that cause. And so when people give money to Special Olympics Delaware through a fundraiser like this, that I think is the most exciting part, that it stays right here in the state of Delaware. You're watching Paige Schmittinger head down. And again, if anybody who is watching Paige wants to give her a shout out on Twitter, please do #OverTheEdgeDE. We actually had 2 or 3 people today who told us they joined Twitter just to give a shout-out. Doesn't cost anything to join Twitter, and it is the type of thing you can join give
Twitter.
Your shout-out, and never go back on it.
Yeah. Well, go back on it because it's awesome.
It is. It is a fun thing. I've never heard anybody who's started using Twitter who's regretted it. In fact, once you realize that, you can be as active as you want, or you don't have to be active at all, as Joe Hayes has made his landing there. So that is the last male of the day who will go down. There were 36 of them out of our total of 87, which naturally means there were 51 females, and that's what we have left. Paige Schmittinger is on the rope, leaned over there. Joanna Suder, Heather Cannon-Bell, and then our Special Olympics athlete is going to wrap it up. And it's only appropriate that the Special Olympics athlete heading down today, Marissa Hammond, be the one to wrap up the day's activities when she goes down. So we will be on the air probably for another half an hour, would be my guess. There are 2 ropes up there. If you're just tuning in and you're wondering, you see the 2 ropes, well, why don't they have 2 people going? They have had 2 people going down simultaneously most of the day, and now they're just kind of staggered, just something that's happened not intentionally for any reason. Walking into the room is Nancy Gallagher, who's going to jump on the headset with us for a couple minutes here as we wrap things up. Nancy's one of the ones who is a multiple-time edger, 4 times, I think. She's nodding her head yes. She has done this event 4 times and skipped it 2 years, I'm sure, for very legitimate reasons. We don't need to know why, but she's back in the saddle. You did do it last year.
I did.
Right, so you've done it consecutive years a couple times. Does it get any less exciting, any, ho-hum, here I am again, going to rappel down a 17-story building? I've only done it once, so I have nothing to compare it to other than the one time. But what's the 4th time like?
Yeah, I think you're a little bit more comfortable, but the thrill of it, the excitement of it doesn't change.
How about that first sit back? Does it get any easier when you sit back and you know you're on your way?
That one, yes. Absolutely, yes.
Easier?
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
it
did. Yeah.
Now, you had another option. You could have gone face out. Did they tell you about that? You chose not to? Is that just because you've done it so well for 3 other times?
That's pretty much it. I was more comfortable with that style, and I walked up. I didn't even give them the option to let me know about it because I asked a couple people that had gone that had been edgers previously, and they were not about it. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to do the regular stand-up traditional.
We've had one person go over the other way. The new way, as we're calling it today, and she went over earlier. What was interesting is I agree with you. I would only want to go over if I could back out, like I did, like you did, like every other person has done today, except that one person.
Right.
Danny Hall, who's done this 6 times, you heard him last night at the cocktail reception talk about how, as much as he does not like doing this event, but he does it for the athletes. Now that he's done it the other way, face out, when he went over yesterday. He said, boy, I kind of like that way doing it. And so it's been interesting that somebody who was terrified to do this event thought that new way, which everybody we've talked to, you're not alone,
right.
We've asked that question. They said, no, I'm backing out. I'm not going out face forward. So just an interesting perspective. Let's talk about your involvement in Special Olympics. We went through it when you were coming down. Jimmy, who do we got up there on that thing?
Adding Joanna Suder.
Joanna
Suder.
Suder. Yeah, I think it's Suder. Suder or Sutter. One or the other?
Either one.
Either one. Whoever's following her is watching her coming down. And after her, we've got Heather Cannon-Bell and Marissa Hammond, our Special Olympics athlete. Then that will put a wrap on today's event. But, Nancy, you've been involved for 20 years?
Yes.
Something like that. I know you were at the 99 games way back, involved before that. What has been the biggest change in Special Olympics that you've seen over the past 20 years since you're first involved? And how did you get involved originally? I didn't know that. I don't know that story.
Yeah, so back, I'm going to say 95, 96, Mary Kate Campbell, whose brother Jimmy participates, was a friend of my sister's, and they were looking for a coach for the North Stars basketball team. And so she had gotten me involved from that avenue. And, I think like most people say, you come and your intention is to be able to give and to be able to help out, and you have that return to you tenfold, and you're hooked. I think everybody that comes and works an event or has some type of volunteer activity, they are hooked for life. So that was kind of the start of it, and I've never gone away.
Yeah, and here you are going over the edge. You do the plunge. You've been involved. Do you do the reindeer run? Have you ever done that?
I've done the reindeer run. Yeah.
So you do a lot of things with special. And we've been talking about. You don't have a child. You don't have a sibling. You don't have a relative in Special Olympics that I know of.
Correct.
And so you are one of these people that has a passion for making a difference in the organization. And we talked about how, we love to talk about the money that this event raises, over $133,000 today, 600 plus in the years, actually more than that, how much? 758,000 in the years that it's been going on. Plunge, very same high numbers, but how it all starts with getting involved first and being a volunteer and seeing the difference that you can make. And then you realize, okay, in order to make this difference, we need money, but I'm willing to do that because I see that it's going to a great cause.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think it makes you go out and find folks that are around you that would have similar thought or passion and to get them in the fold, for sure.
All right, well, thank you for being part of the event again, one more year, and hopefully next year we see you for year number 5.
You got it.
At some point. All right, Nancy, thanks for all
John.
you do. We'll see you at Summer Games in a few weeks. Nancy Gallagher, a member of our Summer Games Committee, among many other things that she does for Special Olympics, including going over the edge, rappelling 17 stories, 222 feet down the side of the building, all to support Special Olympics. She was one of 51 females to go today. One of 39% of our edgers were repeat customers, as we like to call them, coming out for a great cause. So there on the side of the building is that Joanna Suder coming down. Tell you a little bit about her. This is her first time she's scared of taking that first step, which she's obviously already taking, and looking forward to doing it with her awesome friend Paige. Paige has already landed separately. Joanna volunteers in Special Olympics in Maryland years ago and thought this would be a fun, challenging way to give more. She's been skydiving but didn't like it.
Oh,
That's
well,
why
I
never
can imagine
skydiving.
that. Yeah.
No. Anyway, we've had that come up a few times. If you're just tuning in, skydiving is not going to be on my list of
skydiving's the buzzword today.
It is. So as we wrap things up here with only a couple people left to go, Joanne making her way down. She wants to thank Paige and her coworkers, family, and friends who helped her, really came through, as she said, and helped her raise the $1,100 that is required to go down the side of the building. This is the only way you can do this type of thing in the state of Delaware. Over the Edge, Special Olympics Delaware holds the exclusive rights to the event. We're excited about that. It has grown in the number of people involved, the number of spectators, the number of volunteers, year after year, and we're excited as this broadcast has grown as well, as we're approaching 3,000 people.
Yeah, we're about 120 some away, and I would like to ask everybody to spread the word, because obviously it's a number for us to brag about how great this went, but that number means that many people saw Special Olympics. So
and what it's all about.
They were exposed to what it's all about, and that's how this program grows, that's how the plunge grows, that's how those athletes get the opportunities that they get. So a retweet or a repost or some sort of share, an email, a text, something. The Ustream has an app. This is all free, of course, so you can watch on your phone, watch wherever you want, but go to sode.org to find that link real quick. Actually, you're watching it right now if you're hearing me, so just copy and go ahead and paste that and shoot that off to somebody. So help us reach, I wouldn't say it's a goal because we've already passed that, but it's a cool number to hit here for our third year.
And here is another reason to stay tuned. Even if you tuned in just to see Joanna go down, or Paige who just went down, or Joseph who went down a few people ago, Marissa Hammond, a Special Olympics athlete, is going down here coming up. So, of course, is Heather Cannon-Bell. We don't want to take anything away from her. But Marissa Hammond, a Special Olympics athlete, she will be the third athlete. That is her right there. And I believe she's a member of the MOT Tigers. I don't have her biographical information, but I do recognize and I know Marissa, and I believe she is MOT Tiger. She comes to our camp. She's one of these athletes that does everything. She's at Fall Festival. She's at the basketball tournament. She bowls. I think she played golf at one time. She's come into summer games. She comes to the camp. There's not a whole lot that she has not done. And so Special Olympics athlete Marissa Hammond is going over the edge. So if you're tuned in, please stay tuned and watch her go.
Another cool thing, too, about Marissa is it looks like, because Joanna is still on the side of the building, if I'm not mistaken. Or did she come down?
I don't think she's landed yet.
She did? She is down?
Is that her right there? Oh, that's her right there.
I think that is her. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I thought Joanna was still on the side of the building. And Marissa was scheduled to go with a ropes volunteer who basically was going to help her down.
Right.
And I was thinking Marissa had decided she was going to go kind of solo in that case.
Yeah, we'll
but
see.
It looks like she's Marissa. Is she going to have ropes?
Okay, we'll find out.
We'll see.
Either way.
She's coming down either way. It doesn't matter,
goes.
really.
That's right. Well, and when we say, for people who haven't seen an athlete go over the last couple of years, somebody goes down just to help them talk through it. It's not like they really assist them in any way. So she really is doing this all on her own.
Yeah.
The person that, if a person goes down with her, what we call a support person on the ropes, it will be just literally trying to, have a conversation with her on the way down.
Right.
If she's got questions, that type of thing. Somebody she's comfortable with. Now, the techs, again, they do a great job. You got a walkie-talkie. The techs have a walkie-talkie, and they can talk you through all of the information you need on the way down. But what the escort would be, and escort's a wrong term, what the guide would be for Marissa, the other volunteer, would be somebody she's familiar with.
Right.
Somebody who can, and who has done it with her at the Rock Wall, at the Delaware Rock Gym, that provides the opportunity for people to come do it for free and get the feel for it, gives them that opportunity. And so somebody she's familiar with. We haven't seen that person yet. Maybe Marissa has decided to do it
And
by
I did
herself.
hear the DJ, and he may have had different information. This is it. Marissa's it.
Okay.
So we had another. I thought we did, and so Marissa is
Heather
bringing us
Cannon-Bell
home.
scheduled to go. Maybe something happened last minute that we aren't aware of, or maybe she is geared up. Like you said,
Maybe
we're
she is,
listening
right.
to the DJ. We're not sure.
He's also down here. I don't know.
That's right. So here comes Marissa. Looks like she's getting the final touches here. You can see the smile on her face. Looks a little nervous, as I can tell you. Everybody looks nervous. I was nervous. I'm sure. I know I was, but I'm sure I looked nervous getting ready to go down. And it's going to be a fun experience for her. As I mentioned, she does a variety of sports. I want to say she plays volleyball in the fall. I know she bowls. I know she does basketball. And I'm not sure what she's doing at summer games.
Yeah.
But she is, I believe, with the MOT Tigers. And tweet out from Bonnie Smith, go Marissa, way to represent the Dragons. So I've been corrected. She is with the Newark Dragons.
Okay.
There's another athlete I was thinking of that looks like her from the MOT Tigers. So Marissa is with the Newark Dragons. Again, the Dragons are one of 5 programs. We have programs in our schools. More than 100 schools have Special Olympics programs and sports teams, but we have 5 area programs. So if you live in the state of Delaware, there is a place for you to compete in Special Olympics. There's the Wilmington Wizards up here in Newcastle County, the Newark Dragons over in the Newark area. The MOT Tigers cover Middletown, Odessa, Townsend, and Smyrna. And then there's the Kent Wildcats, which is basically all of Kent County except for Smyrna. And then there is the Sussex Riptide, which covers the entire area of Sussex County. And so 4,000 athletes who compete year-round in 20 sports spread out across the state of Delaware in 5 different areas. Marissa, just a representation of them, proudly representing the 4,000 athletes she would call her peers, her teammates, in some cases from the Newark Dragons. And they're getting her situated there and working through the ropes. And the fact that we don't see Heather on the roof yet maybe tells me that she is not here for whatever reason. But we will find that out next time Corinne comes in. Here's another tweet from Mike Zone Ati. Thanks for the great grooming, your soldiers. Not sure what that is. It is to us. It's to Over the Edge, Delaware.
Maybe you were trending and somebody's just trying to be part of the trend.
I guess so, and they did so successfully. Mike Zone Ati, O-T-T-E-E.
Tricked you.
Got me. But if you want to send Marissa some good wishes like Bonnie Smith did, Over the Edge DE, use that hashtag, please, so it pops up and we can see it and read it out there as we come to the conclusion of today's event. We appreciate you tuning in. Almost 3,000 people have, and as much as we're excited about that for them getting to see the broadcast, we're more excited that 3,000 people or close to it now know even more about Special Olympics and the Over the Edge event. And hopefully out of that 3,000, maybe we encouraged a few who will want to come and be part of this event next year. 39%, 34 of the 87 people who went over the edge this year have done it for either the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, or in 4 cases, a 6th time. And I'm pretty confident all 4 of those people who did it 6 times will be back for a 7th next year. Don't forget the Summer Games are coming up June 10th and 11th at the University of Delaware. If you are interested in volunteering, email info@sode.org. It's a picture of the Special Olympics staff down there. Left to right is Ruth Coughlin, Kylie Melvin, Corinne Plummer, who has been helping us all day, and Mark Wise, who you've seen several times at the base there, the landing zone, waiting for people to come down. So Marissa Hammond appears to be the final person who's going to go over the edge.
And she's looking like, or lining up to be, the second to go side saddle or front facing.
And that's exactly how they described it. You sit facing the techs, and then you put one leg over, and then you put the other leg over, and then you begin your descent down. And they're talking with Marissa looks like they're trying to decide what would be the best way for her to go down. And if you're just tuning in to see Marissa, which we think several people are, hopefully her Newark Dragon fans especially, today we have seen 87 people go over the edge. We've raised over $133,000. Brings the 6-year total to $758,000 and 528 people who have gone over the edge for Special Olympics Delaware. We've seen high school students. You have to be 18 to go over the edge. We've talked about that. But we've seen high school students, 2 of them in particular today, 2 seniors, go over. We've seen Special Olympics athletes go over, as Marissa's getting set to do. We have seen retired folks go over. I think we had a 79-year-old go over, didn't we? Was that right? Or 69? I think it was a 69-year-old go over. He was the oldest person that we know. We're pretty sure he was the oldest person to go over, and the youngest were those couple of high school seniors, who I imagine were 18 years old. So you can see they're discussing with Marissa which way she wants to go over. There's a couple of options. The majority of the people, as Jimmy pointed out, have gone, not the majority, all but one so far, have gone back. They've kind of backed over the edge of the building, and from a personal experience, I can tell you, if I had to do it again and never do it again, that will be the way that I go over, rather than going what I call face out, where you go here. And what you see here, the techs are working with Marissa. She's a little nervous, as you can expect.
Yep.
And we've seen plenty of people in this same situation, and the techs are just trying to talk her into taking really that, and step is the wrong word because you don't step, but taking that first lean off the building when you then get the confidence that you need that you're going to be secure the whole way down. And they're working with her, and going to see here. And maybe why they do that, Jimmy, maybe we ought to go to a commercial and show the viewers one last time what this is all about here. And so let's do that. You're watching the 2016 Over the Edge event to benefit Special Olympics Delaware. We're down to our final edger, who's going to rappel 17-story Marissa Hammond, a Special Olympics Delaware athlete. We'll be right back. We'll show you a little bit about what Special Olympics is all about.
If human achievement can be determined not by speed or strength, but by character, then it's easy to see who the most amazing athletes really are. Be a fan of dignity, acceptance, and the human race. Volunteer, coach, or compete in Special Olympics. Special Olympics. Be a fan.
Flame is like no other substance in the world, because one flame can ignite hundreds, thousands, millions of others, while the original is neither exhausted nor diminished. From the beginning, we have been inspired by a flame that once lit has been nurtured and shared by all our many founders, and by the simple but profound insistence that every individual has a right to dignity, acceptance, and respect. That one flame has grown to become many. Many have become a global phenomenon, and passed from hand to hand, they have become a movement. Beacons of hope and humanity around the world, symbols of triumph and joy everywhere. Now, the flame is ours to carry forward. We have gathered to draw from its source, to take our portion back to our regions and countries, to spark a new generation of tolerance, acceptance, and love, to fire new commitments to passion, friendship, and joy, and to ignite a movement and a future.
Welcome back to the 2016 Over the Edge event to benefit Special Olympics Delaware. We are down to our final 2 rappellers. Well, the one that you are looking at right there is Heather Cannon Bell. She is going to be going over the edge here. for Special Olympics Delaware. She will be the 86th person to go over today, the 50th female. 36 males have also gone, and we've raised more than $133,000 for Special Olympics Delaware. Great job by our edgers in the 6-year history, $758,000. A special thanks to TD Bank, Brandywine Realty Trust, and Newcastle County Fire Service. They are the sponsors of this event. Also the supporting sponsors, Delaware Law Enforcement for Special Olympics, Sheraton Suites, Wilmington Downtown, and Delmarva Broadcasting Company. Heather Cannon-Bell works for McCann & Wall. It's a law firm that specializes in personal injury, medical malpractice, and workers' compensation matters. She is a first-time edger. She's always wanted to go over the edge, and she believes that Special Olympics is an awesome cause. And she gets ready to back off the side of the building. Looks a little nervous, like most people are at this point, but it looks like she's going to get herself over there. She has done zip lining and riding the most dangerous roller coasters around the nation. So she's a thrill seeker when it comes to roller coasters. She wants to thank her family and friends for their continuous support. This all started out this morning at 8:50 a.m. when Joe Allen of the WSTW Wake Up Crew went over the edge for the second time. First time as a member of the Wake Up Crew, a position he started a few months ago, joining Nancy Johnson. They did a live remote here as part of Delmarva Broadcasting Corporation's support of Special Olympics Delaware. Yesterday was Media Day. We had several media personalities go over. Dana McDonald of Cool 101.3 went over the fourth time. Ashley Reed from Eagle 97.7. Tom Schultz from 97.1 The Wave. DJ McEnany from WDEL. And Lauren Holloway from WBOC. All of them have posted on their social media and Facebook websites their experience. So if you get a chance, make sure you check that out. They've been going down the 300 Delaware Avenue building. That is where you see Heather standing on top there. Getting ready to go down, and she's going to take that first step back, and I can tell you from experience it's a doozy. And when I say that, it's just getting over that initial reaction of, okay, I'm stepping back, and now I'm going to go 17 stories down the side of a building like I've only seen in the movies before. And so Heather is taking her time and making sure that she is ready to go back. The techs are talking her through it, and as we've mentioned a couple times, the techs here for the Over the Edge company that come in from different parts of the country do an excellent job supporting the people that go over. Some people get up there and they go right over, and they don't have any problem with it, but we're always amazed at the number of people who are actually scared of heights, and they end up going over and they do this, and they tell us they're coming back and doing it again, and we've had several examples of this. Marissa Hammond is also preparing to go over the edge, and we'll let you know her status once she begins her descent as well. But we are down to the final two here in the day, which started, as I mentioned, at 8:50 in the morning. We've seen males and females go over, more females than males, ironically. Not ironically, just the fact that it is. And we've seen kids go over who are 18, and I call them kids because they're high school kids. They're kids to me until they get to college. We've seen college students go over, and we've seen retired folks go over, and middle-aged people go over, and it really is an event that once you're 18 years old, you can participate in. It is a thrill-seeking type of event, making a big impact. And you can see there that Heather, really, she doesn't even realize it, I don't think. She's made the most difficult step there. Yep. You can hear the crowd outside cheering as she makes that step backwards. And that really is, once you make that step backwards, it is the way that you go there. You can see her kind of squatting over the end. And she's just kind of, just really now, and that's what they're trying to tell her, if you just stand up, you will be leaned over. And there she goes. So she is now on her way, and she probably, it'd be hard to tell her that. I'm sure her heart is racing, but she has accomplished the hardest part of that. And you know, I think this is a very fitting way to sort of end the broadcast. Not that we're stopping. We're going to certainly see Heather through to the end, and Marissa as well. But what you've seen here is somebody who's overcome a fear, obviously. You could see her struggling a little bit to get over the edge, but yet she is now over the edge, and she is getting ready to come down. And so, Heather, you can hear the cheers down below. She's grabbing on to her to the lever there. And again, if a lot of you are just tuning in, I'm sure, for the end of this here, and what you do is she's going to pull slowly on that lever, and that's going to lower her down. And if she locks up, which it looks like she just did, you just go forward and come back again. And I did that several times when I went down last year, and we've seen several people do that today. We've even seen some very experienced edgers lock up. And it's just if there's too quick of a movement on the rope, then it comes down there. So you want to give a shout-out on Twitter to either Heather or Marissa, who we're waiting to have go over on the other rope. She will be on the yellow rope when she when she does come down. Please use the hashtag #OverTheEdgeDE. You can hear the music at the bottom and see there. And Marissa, they're showing Marissa again. And Marissa, I think what they're doing is they're allowing her to watch Heather go down so that she can get a little reinsurance, but also maybe remind her. And we talked about this, Jimmy, about an hour ago, it seems now.
Right.
You go through the training. You get up there on that 10th floor. You get signed in. You're nervous, you're going through the training, they show you all the gadgets, the carabiners, and how the ropes are going to work, how the harness works. You go outside and you do a practice run on that one-story thing, which Marissa obviously did, because I think basically the general rule is if you don't do the practice run, you're not going.
Yeah,
because
right,
that, they want to be confident that you're confident in what you're trying to do. So Marissa has done the hardest part, which is leaning over, knowing that you're not going back. And so she has accomplished that. And so she's now at a point, though, probably where she's forgotten that confidence that she had because she was up there close and ready to go. And she has stepped off to recollect her thoughts here for a second. And there goes Heather Cannon-Bell heading down. You can hear the cheers. You can hear the music. And there's still a decent crowd outside. The crowd has varied all day. There's been a consistent number of people out there. But as we talked about, similar to people tuning in the broadcast, people who come to this primarily are coming to see one person, maybe two, go down. And you hang out a little bit before while you're waiting and hang out a little bit after while you wait for the person to come back and say hello and take pictures and stuff like that. But so there's probably a little bit less of a crowd outside now, but still you can hear the cheering. The DJ's still going strong. And when I say less of a crowd, there's probably still 50 to 70 people out there.
Right.
But at one point we were estimating there could have been 300 people out there. And around lunchtime when they were giving away the free food as well. Might have had something to do with that. So you're watching the final two people of the Over the Edge event for Special Olympics Delaware, broadcasting live here on the stream at the 300 Delaware Avenue building in Wilmington on just a picture-perfect day. You can see it's actually a little bit sunny. I just stepped outside for a second when we went to our last commercial break, and it's probably more sunny than it's been all day, but you can still see the white clouds cascading off the or reflecting, I should say, off of the building, and it just was a picture-perfect day all day. You can see the yellow rope on the left in the corner of your screen there is not moving barely at all, and that tells you the wind, because if there's any wind at all, it moves a little bit. And so it was really a perfect day from a wind standpoint, and Heather Cannon-Bell is coming down the rope here, and she had a slow start. She was nervous, and it was nice for our spectators to see that, and I say nice because they realized, what a challenge this was for her. And the challenge it was for a lot of people that are going down today or went down. And she overcame that. She overcame that fear, whether it's a fear of heights or maybe just a fear of being 17 stories up on a roof. We've had a lot of people tell us they're not scared of heights, but it still is a very anxious feeling when you're up there getting ready to go over the edge. She's locked up there, and now you can see she's going to take the time to get unlocked. And they talk through that. The technicians talk you through that process. It's very simple. You just basically have to reset the lever that you're pulling on by pushing it forward, and then you have to slowly bring it back, because if you bring it back too quickly, Jimmy, it jerks it again, and then it feels that tension going fast, and then it locks up automatically for you. So she's finishing up there. And again, this is Heather Cannon-Bell. The next to the last person scheduled to go down over the edge, Marissa Hammond, is scheduled to go over after Heather does. And we'll wait and check on the status of Marissa once Heather lands here.
Making her way down, though.
Yeah, she at the ledge there. It looks like she's at the ledge.
Very close. There's the 10th
out.
floor. Taking pictures of her in there.
Yeah.
So she's getting close to that ledge.
Yeah. And you can see we've seen people come down different ways. She's chosen not to touch the window for the most part.
Yep.
And she's got a big smile on her face now. and that's great to see. She knows she's almost there.
This makes up for all the trepidation, we'll call it, at the front end.
Yep, and certainly not the only one to be a little bit nervous.
No.
And won't be the last. You give her credit. There she is over that last ledge and going to land safely. And like I said before, there's no better feeling than when your feet hit the ground, whether you're a first-time edger, a six-time edger, or somewhere in between, because it's scary being up there. 17 stories. And I give everybody credit who's done it, everybody credit who wants to do it. It is something, we talked about it, comparing it to our other big event, the Polar Bear Plunge. Is it a little crazy, daring to jump in the ocean when it's, 28 degrees out? Sure. I'm just not sure it's on the level of rappelling 17 stories. So she's getting a big hand there. We talked about the crowd out there, and that's great. Heather Cannon-Bell has landed. And going out to get some hugs there. Not sure who that is, but obviously a friend of some sort. Family, maybe family there. And many people still, several people still here watching and getting some hugs there. And that's a big feeling. It's a great feeling. First timer there. Doing it all for Special Olympics. 4,000 athletes. See some of our Over the Edge volunteers there. Larry Meister, who we talked to there in the background. He's the reason we're at this building. And you can see a lot of supporters there. See the remnants of the TD Bank Festival there. That's where the free water ice was, Jimmy, that we never got.
Yeah, I know.
We'll have to make sure we get that next year. And we're going to go back up to Marissa Hammond. And she's watched Heather go now. And looks like she's gotten the confidence to get back up there. And going to be heading down in just a couple minutes, we think. Again, if you want to send Marissa good luck or wish anybody, or congratulate anybody that's gone over, it's hashtag Over the Edge, DE. And Marissa is getting ready here to get back up on that ledge. You can see the techs working with her, trying to figure out the best way to let her confidently go over. We'll see here. And so it looks like Marissa maybe has decided that she is not going to go over the edge this year, so maybe next year. And we're not going to belabor that point other than to certainly, you know what, I'm going to congratulate Marissa for getting that far, because as Jimmy and I just talked about, to get as far as she did, she had to train at the Delaware Rock Gym. She had to go up on the roof and do a one-story rappel, which is more than a lot of people would do.
Right, absolutely.
And then she just got to that point, and she decided that she was not going to go over the edge. So still want to congratulate Marissa Hammond for getting as far as she did. And you know what, folks, she still raised $1,100 for Special
Absolutely,
Olympics
yeah. So at the end of the day.
Marissa
Absolutely.
Hammond, hats off to her. And hats off to the 86 other people that went over the edge today, raised more than $133,000 for Special Olympics Delaware, bringing the total in the 6-year history to $758,000. 528 people have participated in this event. Next year's date is Thursday, May 11th, 2017. To get on the email list for when registration officially opens up for that, just go to SODE.org, click on the Over the Edge banner, and that will take you to a page that will then take a link to a form that you can fill out to make sure that you find out when that information is. You can see they're getting things cleaned up both on the roof and outside in the landing zone. It's been a long day for the volunteers. It's been a long day for our video crew here, and we appreciate their efforts, headed up by Jimmy Smith, and for him to be part of the broadcast crew here as well. I certainly appreciate that. Wisfis Bank has just tweeted out, Over the Edge had everyone's attention to Wilmington today. Congrats to SO Delaware and those who participated. So thank you to Wisfis for reaching out to us. Thank you again, once again, our sponsors of today's event, TD Bank, Brandywine Realty Trust, Newcastle County Fire Service, all the supporters, including Delaware Law Enforcement for Special Olympics, Delmarva Broadcasting Company, the Delaware Rock Gym in Bear. Most of all, thank you to all of our rappellers, the ones who did it for the first time, 39% who came back and did it for a second time. Jimmy Smith, again, I can't thank you and your production crew enough for what you did during, what's going to be a 12-hour day before you're wrapped up and out of here.
Yeah, and thank you again for the opportunity. Really cool. It's a fun, thing to kind of work around mentally and technologically, and it's a fun, I don't want to call it problem, but it's a fun thing to solve. And I know, seeing the numbers and seeing what comes of it and giving people opportunity to see their money get paid off,
right,
so to speak, it's really cool. So thank you again for having us.
Over the Edge 2016, it's a wrap. 1 in the books, 6 down. We will see you next year on May 11th for the 2017 Over the Edge event to benefit Special Olympics Delaware. Once again, your final numbers, 51 females, 36 males, a total of $133,000 stays right here in the state of Delaware for the 4,000 athletes of the first state proudly call themselves Special Olympics athletes. For Jimmy Smith and the entire video production crew, I'm John Busby. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being part of one of Special Olympics Delaware's greatest and largest fundraisers. We hope to continue to see the support that we've gotten from people year in and year out, not only at this event, but as volunteers. For more information about Special Olympics, go to SODE.org. Thanks again for tuning in. Have a great rest of the evening.